We'll start with those blocks and your weights, mostly your weights, towards the very front edge of your mat. So start with the weights parked at the front edge of your yoga mat. Your other toys off to the side. Let's begin standing up. Take a great big inhale. Both arms go up and overhead. And exhale, come on down. Keep your palms turned forward for a shoulder shrug. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. Inhale, both arms up and overhead. Exhale, all the breath out. Palms are forward as you shoulder shrug. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. One more time. Big inhale, both arms up and overhead. And exhale, arms come down to your sides. Palms are forward for a shoulder shrug. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. Adding on. Inhale, both arms up and overhead. Interlace your fingers. Turn your palms towards the sky. Take a great big stretch, lifting your ribs out of your hips and kind of jogging your hips side to side. Let your feet separate to a comfortable hip width. Let your toes spread. Let your ribs spread. Wiggle your jaw. Again, yawn. Just stretch and yawn and shift your weight side to side. I'm pressing up through the heel of one hand and then pressing up through the heel of the other hand and working up a good yawn or two. And coming to neutral, keep your knees soft, bend your elbows, bring your hands behind your head. Still with your palms turned towards the ceiling, let your shoulders drop down away from your ears and keep breathing, big yawns. And as you exhale, let those shoulders sigh away from your ears. Big chesty breath, knees stay soft. And as you exhale, those shoulders shrug down away from your ears. Knees are unlocked, weight towards your heels. Be able to wiggle your toes. One more big chesty breath here. And with knees bent, as you exhale, swan dive down into a forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up, arms dangle. Exhale, release. Knees bent, reverse swan dive, come all the way back up to standing. And exhale, release your arms to your sides, palms turn forward. Big shoulder shrug, big yawn. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. Inhale, both arms up and overhead. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms towards the sky. Exhale, bend your elbows, hands behind your head. Big chesty breath, knees unlocked. Inhale. And as you exhale, swan dive down into that forward fold. Arms dangle as you inhale, come halfway up. And exhale, release. With your arms still dangling, shift your weight to your heels. Maybe pick up your toes. With your knees bent, with your weight in your heels, your butt is hanging out behind you. Let your arms stretch out in front to counterbalance here. So coming into like a low squat, kind of like a chair. And then with an inhale, come all the way up, pressing through your heels, come up to standing. And exhale, release your arms to your sides. Palms forward, shoulder shrug. Big yawn. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, come halfway up. Arms are dangling. As you exhale, sit down. Weight is in your heels, knees are bent. Reach your arms out in front to counterbalance. Be able to wiggle your toes. Butt is sticking out behind you. Pressing through your heels, stand up. Inhale. And exhale, arms down to your sides. Third time's a charm. Again, you're at the front edge of your mat. Your hand weights are down there waiting for you. Big inhale, arms up. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms towards the sky. Exhale, bend your elbows. Big chesty breath. Knees bent, swan dive down into that forward fold. And take hold of those hand weights. Weight goes into your heels, shifting your weight into your hips. Counterbalance yourself by reaching out with those weights and sit low. Feel the weight in your heels, be able to wiggle your toes. And with an inhale, come all the way up to standing. Good. Exhale, release arms down to your sides. Palms forward, shoulder shrug, big yawn. And exhale. From here, you're going to sit back into your heels, go right into that chair pose with your arms out in front. Those weights in your hands help counterbalance the weight of your hips. So you can really stick your hips out behind you. Wiggle your toes. Coming on down. And then inhale, come up to standing. Snow angel your arms down to your sides, palms forward, shoulder shrug, inhale up. Exhale back and sit down, arms out in front. Inhale, stand up. Snow angel your arms down to your sides, palms forward, shoulder shrug, inhale up. Exhale back and sit down. Inhale up. Exhale, arms down to your sides. Notice my arms don't go behind me, they're just to my sides. And exhale, shoulder shrug. Inhale. Exhale, have a seat. Inhale up. So arms down to your sides, palms forward, shoulder shrug, inhale up. Exhale, sit down. The weight is in your heels. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, arms to your sides. One more time through, shoulder shrug, inhale up. Exhale back, head down. Have a seat. Inhale up. And exhale. We're gonna add on. Shoulder shrug, inhale up. Exhale back, sit down. Good. Rise up onto your tippy toes and put your heels down. Rise up onto your tippy toes and put your heels down. So you're rolling through the balls of your feet and then putting your heels down. Your weight is still back behind you. Your butt is still sticking out. Rising up onto your toes and put your feet down. Let's do a little bit more action here. So as you rise up to your toes, your arms drop down. You might get a little bit higher. And as you exhale, sit down. Inhale, rise up. Tippy toes. Exhale, sit down. Rise up. Exhale, sit down. I kind of feel like I'm ski jumping. Not that I've ever done ski jumping, but kind of have that image in my head. Exhaling. Having a seat. Just breathe. 2 more, just like this. When you sit down a little bit lower. You roll through the balls of your feet. Then have a seat. And come all the way up to standing. Palms forward, heels down, shoulder shrug, inhale up. Exhale back and down. All right, keeping your knees soft, feet a comfortable hip width apart. Good shoulder shrug up, back and down. Just a little bicep curl. And release. Curling and releasing. Already getting warmed up this morning. I've got some steam in the air around me. We'll be taking these super socks off in a few moments. A couple more here. So warming up those biceps. Front of your arms, your shoulders are down on your back. Your chest is open. Elbows are pinned to your sides. Knees unlocked, comfortable hip width apart with those feet. And one more bicep curl and release. Shoulder shrug, inhale up. Exhale back and down. Have a seat. Good. And then hinge forward, setting those weights down for just a moment. We'll be picking them up again. But for now, you're going to find your belt and your block. Block goes between your thighs. And the belt is going to go around your thighs above your knees. So using this belt, tying the belt or using a buckle on the belt, you're going to secure your legs so that they stay hip width apart. So the block between my thighs is on its narrow setting. And I am strapping in. I'm using the belt like a belt, not a tourniquet. I'm not cutting off circulation, but it is firmly holding. You can see it's kind of denting my legs here. It's firmly holding my legs in against the block. All right. And with all of that gear in place, feet are solid, flat down on the ground. Weight is in my heels. My toes are lifted and spread. Weight is in my heels. And I'm going to engage like I'm spreading my heels apart. And as I spread my heels apart, the belt is keeping me from dropping that block. My legs stay hip width apart. So I'm spreading my heels, pressing my knees wide, and I'm going to sit down a little deeper into my chair pose. Arms out in front for counterbalance. Pressing into heels, Come all the way up to standing. Have a seat, spread those heels, spread your butt, sit low, and come on up. So make sure that belt is adjusted, that you are not losing your block, but you can shove your thighs and your feet wide. Knees will track in the same direction as your toes. Knees are still pointing forward. Have a seat, spread your heels. Counterbalance with the arms out in front so you can really stick your butt out behind you. And come on up. One more time, have a seat. Good. You're gonna reach back, look over your left hand, and come forward. Reach back, look over your right hand, and come forward. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, reach back. Inhale, come forward. Keep spreading your heels, keep pressing your knees wide, but your thighs, lower body, stay locked into place. The only thing twisting is the torso. Exhale, twist your chest backward. Inhale, forward. Exhale, chest backward, forward. Exhale, chest back and forward. Once more on each side and forward. And exhale and forward. And hinge on over. And bent over. Keep your knees unlocked, but remove the belt, remove your block. Find yourself in a nice forward fold. I'm going to turn myself sideways. You're probably fine oriented the way you are. Do make sure both hands and feet are on the same surface as you step back into your downward facing dog. Now, if you do have socks on, I recommend removing those socks so that you don't go sliding. Downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, rise up onto your tippy toes, bend your knees down to the mat. Keep your toes curled under. If your knees are bony, if your floor is concrete, you might consider taking that pillow, tucking it underneath your knees. Notice I still have my toes curled under. I'm getting that toe stretch. I'm making sure those pinky toes are curled under as well. On hands and knees, begin with an inhale, head up, tail up into your sway back cow. And exhale, arch your back for cat. Inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. Moving back and forth through cat and cow. Inhaling for cow. And exhaling for cat. Inhaling for cow. And exhaling for cat. All right, sit back over your heels just long enough to find your block. You take that block and tuck it between your thighs. Now, your knees are on the sticky mat. I'm going to move my pillow out of the way. You can continue using your pillow. I'm just moving it out of the way to illustrate the point that my knees are on a sticky surface. And as I spread my knees, they don't go anywhere. As I spread my heels, they don't go anywhere. So I want to have my knees narrow enough so that when I spread my knees and they don't go anywhere, I don't drop the block. So the block is on that narrow setting between my thighs once again. My toes are still curled under, really tucked under. So I've got some good grip with the balls and toes of my feet. And I'm going to spread my heels, spread my knees, and the block doesn't drop. And as I spread my knees, spread my heels, I'm going to inhale, come into that cow pose, have a big old bottom. And as I exhale, pull in my belly, arch my back for cat. Keep spreading knees, keep spreading heels, and the block doesn't go anywhere. Inhale, big bottom cow. Spreading knees, spreading heels. And exhaling, cat, pulling the belly up tight. Now, as you move back and forth through this variation on cat and cow, keep pressing your heels wide, your knees wide. Your knees don't actually go anywhere, but you're pressing your knees and your heels wide. And at the same time, holding onto that brick between your thighs, think about pressing your thighs backward, sticking that brick out behind you, especially when you come into that cow pose. Think about pressing your inner thighs backward so the brick travels behind you. As you inhale, come into that cat pose, try keeping that brick pressing backward. Inhaling cow. And exhaling cat. Two more just like this. Inhaling cow. And exhaling cat. Okay, leave that brick in place. Hands beneath your shoulders. Inhale for cow, spreading your heels, spreading your knees, sticking your butt out behind you. And then as you exhale, pull your belly in, pressing into your hands, lift your knees an inch off the mat. So you are hovering in space. So knees are off the mat, hovering in space. We're going to call this one bear, B-E-A-R, bear pose. And then set your knees down. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Lift your knees for bear. And keep breathing. And set your knees down. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Lift up into bear. Inhale, hold. Exhale, hold. Good. Inhale, hold. Exhale, set your knees down. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, bear. Hold it. Exhale. Inhale, breathe. Exhale, breathe. Inhale, breathe. Exhale, breathe. Inhale. Exhale, set your knees down. Inhale, cow. One more time. Exhale, cat. Inhale, bear. Let's stay for 4 breaths. And setting knees down. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Remove that block. Untuck your toes. Back your hips up to your heels. Breathe. These chickens are being especially annoying this morning. Breathe, breathe, breathe. All right. Pillow. With knees on pillow, you're going to step forward with your right foot. Turn this into a lunge. I still have my dumbbells. Keeping those nearby. Back toes are curled under. Got that left knee on a pillow. Right foot is pointing forward. Driving my hips forward. Getting a nice low lunge. Making sure the knee is tracking in the same direction as the toes. It even feels like I'm turning the knee out to the side a little bit, just so it is pointing straight toward, out over the toes. Back toes are curled under. Use hands on blocks. You can put hands on dumbbells. Hands on blocks or hands on dumbbells, something beneath your hands so that you can curl the toes of the back foot under and then power the back leg straight. Still in a low lunge, but straightening the back leg. A little extra calf stretch. And release. Rock back on the front heel, peel up the front toes, hands on blocks, or hands can be on weights, I guess. You could use weights instead of blocks, so that your hands are touching something and you have some stability. As you waggle the front foot side to side, wiggle your hips. I still have the back toes curled under. Still getting that good fascia stretch on the underside of that back foot. Waggle hips a little side to side. And then shift forward, release, switch sides. Left foot forward, right knee down on a pillow, back toes curled under. Make sure the front knee tracks in the same direction as your toes. The toes are visible, they're peeking out beyond the front knee. Hands on blocks. Back toes curled under, power the back leg up straight. Pressing through the back heel, getting a good calf muscle stretch. And knee down. Rock back on the front heel, peeling up the front toes. Waggle your foot side to side, waggle your hips side to side. And then release and come on out of that one. I'm going to set the blocks aside, set the pillow aside, pick up those weights, and then come on up to standing. Standing at the front edge of your mat, have your weights ready to go. Palms are forward for a shoulder shrug. Inhale up. Exhale, back and down. Right foot forward, giant step back with your left. So we're going into a more grown-up version of the lunge. So start by leaning forward. You can put your hands, your knuckles on your front thigh, your front knee is bent. You make sure that knee is pointing in the same direction as your toes. Maybe turn that knee out a little bit. Maybe even turn your toes out a little bit. Wiggle the back heel back. Get the back leg nice and straight. Palms are forward, shoulder shrug, inhale up. Exhale, drop your shoulders back and down. Front knee is bent. I know it's kind of hard to tell with these black pants, but yes, this front knee is bent. Inhale, straighten up. I'm on the tippy toes of the back foot. And as I exhale, bend the front knee. Back leg is straight. Inhale, fly up, palms up. Exhale, press down, palms down. Front knee bends. Inhale up. So really that back foot, getting that stretch free beforehand really helps. This is a big stretch through the fascia on that back foot. Back heel stays lifted pretty much the whole time. Bending and straightening the front knee. Inhaling up. And exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Big inhale up. And exhale down. Front leg stays bent. I'm up on the tippy toes of the back foot. I'm going to bend the back knee down and straighten up. Bend the back knee down and straighten up. Knee down, straighten up. Knee down, straighten up. One more time here, knee down and straighten up. This time I'm going to bend both knees. Back knee, I let it come all the way down. Front view, this is what the front view looks like. Let me quickly pivot. Back view, you'll see my toes are still curled under. Shoulders are back and down. Front knee is bending, making sure that front knee is tracking in the same direction as the toes. I hinge over, let my arms drop down. Maybe my hands touch the floor, maybe they don't. Back toes curled under, power up the back leg straight. So we were in this pose previously. Good. Work your, well, if this is your right leg in front, you're gonna put your right elbow on your lap. Left arm is dangling. Holding onto that weight, shrug that left shoulder onto your back. Pull up to scratch your ribs, you got an itch, and release. Pull up and scratch your ribs, you got an itch, and release. Elbow scratches your ribs, your nut fingers scratch your ribs, and release. Rib scratch, release. One more here. Give yourself a rib scratch and release. Stepping forward, hopping forward, stepping back, switching sides. So now you have that left foot forward. Go along with that back leg. Make sure the front knee is bent. You're going to climb up onto that front thigh. Knee is pointing in the same direction as the toes. Maybe the toes turn out a little bit. You're up on the tippy toes of the back foot. Back foot's got a little width in addition to the length between your feet. Good. Shoulder shrug, inhale up. Exhale back and down. As you straighten both legs, you stand up tall. And exhale, bend the front knee. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, bend the front knee. Inhale up. And exhale. So I'm on the tippy toes. The back foot is getting a big stretch. Bending and straightening the front leg. One more time, inhale up. And exhale. Hands come to hips. Front knee stays bent. I'm gonna bend the back knee down and straighten up. Bend the back knee down. Straighten up. Back knee down. Straighten up. And back knee down. Straighten up. Good. Bend both knees, come all the way down. Good. Hinging forward. Maybe your hands touch the ground, maybe they don't. Back toes curled under, you're going to power the back leg straight. Left elbow on your lap. Right arm dangling. Back leg nice and straight. Scratch your ribs and lower down. Scratch your ribs, lower down. Little rib scratcher, so your elbow scrapes your ribs and then your fingers scrape your ribs. One more time, give it a good stretch and release. Stepping forward, front edge of the mat. Knees are bent, feet are about hip width apart. Keeping a bend in your knees, shave your shins, shave up the front of your legs. Knees are unlocked, your weight is in your heels. You're gonna shave down to the middle of your shins, like the top of your socks. Shave up, shave down. Knees stay unlocked. Shave up, shave down. Shave up, shave down. Just because you can touch your toes doesn't mean I want you to do that. Okay, this is not about showing off your flexibility. Weight is in your heels. It's about shaving your legs. Shave up and shave down. Bend your knees. Hands come all the way down to the ground. You're going to repeat that same thing we just did. So front foot is, right foot is forward, left foot is back. Climb up onto that front knee. Turn the front foot out a smidge. Make sure that front knee turns out. Maybe hop the back foot a little bit wider. There's length and width between your feet. Palms are forward for shoulder shrug, chest up. Exhale back and down. Arms are going to go out in front as you rise up onto tippy toe and exhale. You want to go about shoulder height, not much higher than that. I know it looks, I've got a funny angle here. You want to make sure you go no higher than your shoulders, really. So I'm bending and straightening the front leg. The back leg is straight the entire time. On the ball of the back foot, getting that foot to stretch. Front raise. Yeah. One more time. Front raise. And front knee is bent. Hands come to your hips. Back knee drops and straightens. Back knee bends and straightens. Back knee bends and straightens. One more time. Bend, straighten. This time you're going to bend all the way down to the ground. Good. Hinging forward. Power the back leg straight. Right elbow on your lap. Left arm dangles. Shave your ribs and lower. Shave your ribs or tickle your ribs and lower. Shave up and down. Shave up and down. The next time you come up, stay up and then kick that arm backward. Stay up, kick the arm backward. These are called tricep kickbacks. Kick back and bend. So as that knuckles come in, you're scratching the ribs. Elbow stays high behind you. About 2 more kickbacks here. And then lower down. You get to step forward. And then step back, switching sides. So the left foot is forward, right foot goes back. Climb up onto that front lap, front thigh. Make sure the knee is bent, the toes are turned out a little bit. Maybe hop that back foot a little bit wider. Palms are forward for a shoulder shrug up. Exhale back and down. Front knee is bent, back leg is straight. Arms up, straighten up and down. Arms up, straighten up and down. Arms up and down. So typical yoga breathing is an inhale up and an exhale down, whereas strength training is an inhale, it's an exhale on the exertion for strength training. And bend the front knee. Hands come to your hips. Front knee stays bent, back knee bends down and up down, and up, down, and up. Exhale down, inhale up. This time, come on down. Hinge forward, back leg power straight, elbow on your lap. Get ready to scratch your ribs. Scratch up to those ribs and lower down. Scratch up to your ribs, lower down. One more time, ribs get a scratch, lower down. This time you come up, scratch your ribs, stay up, kick back, find those ribs. Kick back, find those ribs. So your elbow stays high and your knuckles scratch your ribs. And we got two more here. And release. Stepping forward, find yourself in a forward fold at the front edge of your mat. Weight is in your heels. Keep a bend in your knees. Shave up all the way to standing. Shave down to the top of your socks. Shave up your shins. Shave down. So my terrible joke is that's why bodybuilders are hairless. They spend all day long shaving. So shave like you're getting ready for a spray tan. Shave up and down the front of your legs. All right, one more shave up. And this time, shave down. All right, stepping back with your left foot. So again, you have that right foot in front. You're still with all your weight shifted forward. Let your arms dangle out in front of you. Let me show you the profile view. Arms are dangling out in front of you, keeping your weight shifted forward with those weights helping you. You know, lift up that back leg. Maybe it's not all the way up to your highest lift, but it's off the floor. Front knee is bent. And you're breathing. Can you shave both ribs? And release. Squeeze those shoulder blades together on your back. And release. Shave. And release. If you lose your balance, that's okay. Reset, shave. Maybe you just have the big toe on the ground. It's all about all the weight in the front leg. One more time, shave. And release. Knees bent, shift sides. Reach back with the right foot. Maybe the big toe stays on the ground. Maybe that back leg floats. Front knee stays bent. All your weight is shifted forward as you shave your ribs. And you shave your ribs. Squeeze those shoulder blades together on your back. Shoulders are away from your ears. You have a nice, long, elegant neck. And you're shaving. And you shave. One more time, shave. And release. Find yourself in that forward fold once again. Just bend your knees and bring your hands all the way down to the ground. Bend your knees, hands on your lap, shoulder shrug onto your back, roll all the way up to standing. Shake out a leg or two. Woo-hoo-hoo. All right. Palms are forward for a shoulder shrug. Inhale up. Exhale back and down. We're going to repeat. So you're going to hinge over. Step back with your right big toe. I guess this is your right foot forward. So you're stepping back with your left big toe. Arms are dangling. This time, you're going to lift and lower the back leg. So the front knee is holding all your weight. The front leg is holding all your weight. The front knee is unlocked. And as you lift the back leg up, you're going to fly your arms out to the sides. And release. Lift. And release. Squeeze up and lower down. Squeeze up and lower down. Squeeze up and lower down. Squeeze up, lower down. Two more, I believe. One more. And forward fold. Stepping forward, stepping back, switching sides. So left foot forward, right big toe back. Get ready to fly and release. Fly, release. One more time. Fly up and release into that forward fold. Setting the weights aside, step back into your downward facing dog. Take your feet as wide apart as the mat, but do keep them out on the mat with you. As you pedal your feet, let your hips jog side to side. Take your dog for a walk. Rub your lower back against the ceiling. Pull your lower belly in so that you can press your lower back against the ceiling as you jog your hips side to side. And then walk your feet all the way up to your hands. Let's continue stretching out that lower back. Knees bent, hand on your lap. Roll all the way up to standing. No weights. I'm going to shift your weight over onto your left foot. Shrug your shoulders up, back and down. Cross that right leg on top. Squeeze your thighs together. Hands go on your lap, have a seat. So your knees are bent, you're squeezing your thighs together nice and tight. So you can sit a little lower. And breathe. Balancing on one foot. You can take your arms out like a bird to help you balance. Palms forward as you shoulder shrug. Your shoulder blades onto your back, palms turn forward, thumbs are up, and you balance. And release. Switching sides, standing on your right foot. Cross that left leg over. Hinging forward, hands on your lap. Sitting down a little bit lower, tightening your thighs. Squeezing in tight. Maybe double crossing, tucking your toes behind your calf. Then arms out like a bird. Palms forward, shoulder shrug. Shoulder blades onto your back, palms turn forward, thumbs turn up. Breathing, balancing. And release. Shifting, repeating. Right leg on top. Shoulder shrug up, back and down. You have a nice lap, you're sitting low. Arms out to your sides. If that's your right leg on top, you're going to put your right arm on top and tangle up your arms. And breathe. Sit down a little bit lower, both knees are bent. And inhale, open. Switching sides, crossing that left leg on top. Chest is open, shoulders are down, sitting down low. If that's your left leg on top, you put your left arm on top as you balance. And inhale, open. And exhale, arms to your sides, palms forward, shoulder shrug, inhale up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, both arms up and overhead. Bend your knees, swan dive down into a forward fold. From here, step back into your downward facing dog. Once again, rub your backside against the ceiling. Pull in your belly, pull in that pelvic floor so you can rub your back waistband against the ceiling. So you want to maintain some abdominal control here, even as you jog your hips side to side, even as you let your hips swish and sway. Don't let your guts fall out. All right, feet walk forward. Bend your knees. Hands on your lap, shoulder shrug, come all the way up. Back and down. Make sure you have a nice clear path You don't accidentally kick or step on anything. Big inhale, both arms up and overhead. And exhale, release. Take that right leg, cross it behind. Front knee is bent. Big inhale, both arms come up. Left hand to your hip. Feel that stretch through the right side of your body. Big stretch. Knees are unlocked. Right hip is dropping down as I reach and stretch through that right side body. And release. Cross the other leg behind. Knees unlocked. Reach and stretch. Big side body stretch. And release. Once again, cross behind. Reach and stretch. Release. Cross behind. Reach and stretch. And come on up. So crossing that right leg behind, squeezing your thighs. Feel that stretch to the side body nice and long. Find this side body and swing it forward. So my knees are unlocked. I'm turning this side line towards the front of the room. And as I do this, I feel a good side body stretch. And release, other side, crossing behind. There's a tendency to kind of turn out diagonal. You don't want to turn out diagonal. You want to swing the side body forward. Knees unlocked. Most hip bones are pointing forward. And release. All right, we're going to repeat, crossing behind. You don't want to go so far behind that you turn out sideways. You want to cross behind just enough so you feel that side body stretch, and you take that side body, square it forward. Knees unlocked. I'm up on tippy toes on the front foot here. Arms out, up and overhead. And exhale, have a little curtsy squat. Inhale up, squeeze. And exhale, curtsy. Inhale up. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale up. Exhale, squeeze. So this side body is still turning forward. My hips are squared to the front of the room. One more time, big inhale. And exhale, sit down. Good. Release, recross. Other leg behind. Again, make sure you're not turned out. You are squared forward, up on tippy toes. Hips turn forward. Inhale. Exhale, have a curtsy squat. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale. About two more. And have a seat. Good. I'm going to hinge over, hands to the ground. Once again, step back into that downward facing dog. Jog those hips side to side. Let your feet spread apart. Let your feet be on the mat, but your feet are as apart from each other, one foot either side of the mat. Let your hips jog side to side. Find those side lines, the side bodies that you were just turning forward, one side at a time. Think about turning both sides of your body forward, so to speak, as you pull your belly in and support your lower back. And bend your knees, come on down. You might want to put some padding underneath your knees. So these side lines that you just felt when we were doing our setup for the curtsy squat, you want those side lines, both of them, to turn forward. You want to have this inward contraction. Everything's wrapping around to the front side of your body for support. Toes curled under, on hands and knees once again, pinky toes curled under. Inhale for your cow. Exhale for your cat. Wrap everything around to the front. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. And as you exhale, wrap around. Really find those side bodies. Wrap around, pull in that lower belly, arch your back. So we did cat and cow a few moments ago with that block between your thighs. So we're going to add that block back in. Toes curled under. So you really feel your bony knees and your toes on the floor, hands beneath your shoulders. Inhale for cow. Spread your heels. Spread your knees, but they don't go anywhere. You still hold on to that block between your thighs. And as you exhale, come into cow. Wrap those side bodies around to the front. Pull in your belly. Support. Balloon out. Push out that lower back. Inhale, big bottom, spreading your heels, spreading your knees, pressing that block back behind. Keep pressing that block, your inner thighs back behind. As you pull in that lower belly, as you wrap your side body around to the front, come into that cat. Inhale for cow. Exhale for cat. Inhale for cow. And the next time you exhale to cat, turn this cat into a bear. Oh, your favorite. And then keeping all that action, wiggle your heels back until you find yourself in a plank pose. And those side bodies are wrapping around to the front. And your lower belly is lifted and your lower back is flat against the ceiling. And that brick is sticking out behind you. And you're spreading your heels. And you're in plank. And your knees come on down. And you inhale into cow. And you're spreading your heels, spreading your knees, but you're not dropping the brick. And you exhale, wrap your side bodies around to the front, pull up on those front ribs, pull up on that lower belly, support your lower back. Lift up, float those knees off the mat. Find those front ribs pulled in, knitted together, and straighten those legs. Plank. Knees come on down. Inhale into cow. Spreading heels, spreading your knees without dropping the block. Exhale for cat, wrapping side body around to the front, pulling up on that lower belly. Keep pressing the brick back behind you. Bear, knees up. Chest kind of shifts forward a little bit as you wiggle your feet back. You want to ideally end up with your chest hovering over your thumbs. One more breath. And knees come on down. Remove the block. Whew. Untuck your toes. Hips back over your heels. All right, you're going to pick a side and lie on your side. You might have a pillow for your head. And make nice with that lower back now. So lying on your side, I'm trying not to squish my mic, so I'm supporting my head in my hand, but you can have your head down on your arm. Have your hand weight nearby. You're going to hike your knees in towards your chest. Tuck the weight into your knee pit. Now this only works with a small weight. You got a big weight, it's hard to tuck it into your knee pit. But these little 2 and 3 pounders, they do fit for most of us in the knee pit. Knees are close to your chest. When you start, your shins are parallel with the ground. You take your top hand to your top hip. You're going to push that top hip forward. So you stack your shins like fire logs, one on top of the other. So push that top hip forward and also push that top hip away from you towards your heels. So your side waist is long and there's a little mouse house between your bottom waist and the ground. So push that top hip away and forward. Little mouse house in that side waist. Now find that top butt cheek and activate it. Squeeze that top butt cheek. That's the starting position. All of that you want to maintain. Hip pushing away, hip pushing forward, mouse house, butt cheek squeezing. And then you just lift the leg up, just 2 or 3 inches. Your shins stay parallel. And you hold. And you breathe. And you breathe. And you hold and you squeeze that top butt cheek tight, 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 tight. And lower down. And keep squeezing that top butt cheek super tight and lift up and hold. And breathe. And lower down. Squeeze that top butt cheek tight, push that top hip away, and lift up and squeeze and hold. And lower down. One more time. Squeeze that top butt cheek, keep squeezing it tight. Lift and hold. And release. I'm going to swing my toes back. So now there's an imaginary line connecting shoulder, hips, and toes. Shoulder, hips, on toes on an imaginary line. Again, do whatever you want with the upper body. Top hip pushing away. There's a little mouse house in your side waist. And you're going to open the clam and close the clam. My big toes touch. Lifting the knee up, knee down, knee up, knee down. So my knees are bent enough that I can hold on to that little weight in my knee pit as I do this. This can, of course, be done without the weight. It's a little easier without the weight. If you've never done it before, you probably want to drop the weight. Set the weight aside. And this time you're going to lift up and just hold and hold. You're squeezing that top butt cheek. Tight, 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 tight. Keeping that top hip pushing forward. You don't want to roll over onto your back for this one. Top hip pushing forward and away. Squeezing that top butt cheek, just holding the knee in space. And down. All right, you get to spin around and do the same thing on the other side. Toning up the outer hips will help release your lower back, in case you haven't noticed. So again, do whatever you want with the head. I'm trying not to muffle my mic. So you can have your head on a block or a pillow, cradle your head in your hand. It doesn't really matter what you're doing with your head, as long as you're comfortable. You're gonna hike those knees in towards your chest. You can tuck your weight into your knee pit. Top hand on the hip. I'm pushing the top hip forward. So I'm stacking up my shins, pushing the top hip away. So I have a mouse house. Squeezing that top butt cheek, and I lift up 2 or 3 inches and hold. And lower. So the foot's coming up too. Top butt cheek is squeezing. I lift up and hold. And release. Butt cheek is tight the entire time. Lift up and hold. And release. One more time. 4th time on this side. And release. All right, swing it back. Line up shoulder, hip, and toes. Shoulder, hip, and toes on the same line. Pushing the top hip away. I still have a mouse house here. Top hip is pushing forward. I'm not rolling over onto my back. That top hip is pushing forward. Top butt cheek is squeezing, and I open the clam and I close the clam. Open, close. Open, close. I just open and close, I think 6, 7, 8 times. And then the final time, I'm going to hold. Butt cheek is squeezing the entire time. Top hip is pushing forward. Top hip is pushing away. And then finally, I'm going to open and hold and hold and hold and hold and hold and hold and breathe and hold and breathe and hold and release. And then set that weight aside. All right, you get to roll over onto your back. Have that pillow for underneath your head. Have your weights, have your blocks, have your belt, have your tennis ball, all the fun stuff ready to go. Easily accessible, lying on your back. Knees bent, feet flat, head on a pillow if you're using a pillow. Let your feet go as wide apart as your mat. Let your knees tick-tock side to side like windshield wipers. Both knees to one side, then both knees to the other. Give your lower body, your lower back a twist as you tick-tock side to side. Slow this down, begin to synchronize breath with movement so that as you inhale, knees come to center, and your exhale, knees fall to the side. Inhale, knees to center. Exhale, knees to the side. Inhale, knees to center. Exhale, knees to the side. Inhale, knees to center. Exhale, knees to side. Just breathing, massaging that lower back, synchronizing breath with movement. And the next time your knees fall over to the right, keep breathing. So when both knees fall over to the right, that left butt cheek is probably floating. Reach down with your right hand and spread that right hip, that right buttock out a little bit more so it lies flatter. Left butt cheek, give it a good hard squeeze. Let that left hip bone stick out sharp and pointy. Push the left knee down and away. Feel a good stretch in the front of that left hip. Left butt cheek, tight, tight, tight. And drop it like it's hot. Inhale. And exhale over to the other side. Reach down with your left hand, spread that left butt cheek out a little bit wider so it goes a little bit flatter. Right butt cheek is floating, so squeeze that right butt cheek. Feel your right hip bone stick out sharp and pointy. Push your right knee down and away. Feel a good stretch in the front of the hip. And drop it. Inhale to center. Exhale to the other side. Again, reach out, spread that right butt cheek out. Squeeze the left cheek. Left hip bone sticks out sharp and pointy. Left knee is pushing away. Left knee pushing down. Opening up the front of that left hip. And release. Inhale to center. Exhale to the other side. Spread out that left buttock. Activate the right cheek. Push the right knee down and away. Big stretch. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze butt cheek. And release. All right, find your belt, please. Spread both butt cheeks out on the ground as you bring your knees into your chest. Rock your hips side to side, really spread out your backside. Belt's gonna go around the bottom of your right foot. I'm gonna unbuckle my belt completely. So I just have a nice long strap. And that belt goes around the bottom of the right foot, but both legs go up. So it's just around the bottom of the right foot, both legs go up. And I'm looping the belt around the back of my hands, and I've spread out my back, my hips on the floor, both legs are straight. I'm gonna turn my toes in, cross one big toe on top of the other. When I turn my toes in and cross one big toe on top of the other, I can lock my legs out straight. I'm holding on so that my arms are straight, my shoulders are relaxed, my arms are nice and heavy. Toes turn in, both legs are locked straight. Front ribs and belly activate as I exhale, tuck in my front ribs. Pull in that lower belly, even squeeze my thighs closed. So I've locked my legs straight, now I'm gonna squeeze my thighs closed and engage that pelvic floor. Inhale. And as I exhale, I'm gonna let this left leg descend down towards the ground, maybe 2/3 of the way. That's it. Keep those front ribs and belly pulled in nice and tight. You feel this right leg plugging down into your pelvis. You feel your lower back spread on the ground. The left leg, the one that's descending down towards the ground, keep pulling it into your pelvis. Keep it short. Feel your waistband on the ground, still nice and flat. After 3 or 4 breaths, that left psoas may begin to release, and maybe that left leg creeps down a little closer to the ground, but your back waistband, your back ribs stay glued to the floor. Maybe that left leg never touches the floor. Mine's not touching the floor. It's just dangling a little lower, descending a little closer to the ground. Keep breathing. Front ribs are knitted together. Pelvic floor is pulled in. Inner thighs engaged, squeezing towards the midline. Arms are nice and straight. Feeling that lower back spread out across the ground. All right, proof is in your hairstyle. So if you've got good strong abs, good technique on this one, when you bring that left leg up, your head does not move. As you exhale, keep those front ribs pulled in, keep that left leg short, pelvic floor engaged. As you bring the left leg up, nothing changed in your torso. You don't mess up your hair. Slip that left foot in, slip your right foot out. Cross one big toe on top of the other, lock your legs straight. Shoulders relaxed. Take a deep breath. Squeeze your thighs close, feel that pelvic floor engaged. Tuck in those front ribs, activate your abs, and let the right leg descend down, maybe 2/3 of the way. Just let it find its first stopping point. And your front ribs are tucked in, that pelvic floor is pulled in, and the descending leg is still short, still pulled into your pelvis. You can feel your lower back, your back waistband making contact with the ground. You can feel your back ribs making contact with the ground. And after 2, 3, 4 breaths, maybe that right psoas muscle begins to release and your right leg creeps a little closer to the ground without you messing up your hair. Those front ribs knitted together. And breathe. This is not the maximum hamstring stretch. This is just a psoas release. We'll get the hamstring stretch the second time around. And again, proof is in your hairstyle, pulling that right leg into your pelvis, pulling in that pelvic floor, tucking in your front ribs. As you haul that right leg back up, nothing changes in your torso. Right leg slips in, left foot slips out. Cross one big toe on top of the other, lock the leg straight, squeeze your thighs closed, maybe hold on a little bit closer, because maybe you've gotten a little bit more length of that hamstring. Abs are strong, front ribs are pulled in, left leg descends down, finding a stopping point, wherever that may be. Find those front ribs, and as you exhale, tuck in those front ribs, peel your head and shoulders up off the ground. Admire that left foot. So flex your left foot flat. Look at that pinky, that big toe. Look at your pedicure down there. Tucking in your front ribs, pulling in your belly so that you can see that bottom foot. Inhale. And as you exhale, bring that leg up. Let's slip in, slip out. I still have my upper body off the ground here. Lower the other leg down. Front ribs and belly pulled in, admiring my pedicure. Looking past my inner thighs, they're pulled in towards midline. And pull it on up. And you get to lie down. Both legs in the belt for just a moment. Bend your knees to your chest. You can set the belt aside. Give those knees a hug. Arms open out to the sides like airplane wings. Big inhale. And exhale, both knees over to the right, coming into a twist. Inhale, top leg up first, bottom leg up second. And exhale over to the other side. Inhale, lift the top leg up first, bottom leg up second. Shoo your chicken away. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing without the belt. Legs go straight, cross one big toe on top of the other. This time you get to hold on to the back side of your right leg. Legs are straight, big inhale. As you exhale, lower the left leg down and sit up at the same time. So I'm pressing my right thigh into my hands to help me sit up. Good. Left leg straight, both feet flex flat. Inhale. And as I exhale, I lie down and use the weight of my upper body to bring that right leg in tighter, closer. My left leg is still lowering down towards the ground. My hands can slide up the back of my leg as I inhale, sit up tall. Again. And exhale, lie down a little bit lower. Exhale, sit up, slide up, and lower down. How about one more time? Exhale, sit up, slide up, and lower down. Big hamstring stretch. And bring that left leg up. Switching, holding behind the back of your left leg. As you exhale, lower the right leg, sit up. Inhale. Exhale, lie down. Inhale. Exhale, sit up, slide up. Inhale, lie down. Exhale, sit up, slide up. Inhale, lie down. Exhale, sit up, slide up. Inhale, lie down. The other leg is still dangling in space, squeezing towards midline. Exhale, sit up, climb up. Inhale, lie down. Big hamstring stretch. And then abs are strong. Exhale, pull up on that right leg. Back to start. Knees come to your chest. Arms open out to the sides. Come into a twist, both knees to the right. Inhale, knees up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, knees up. Coming to center. Knees bent, feet flat. So with knees bent, feet flat, turn your toes in, let your knees lean together. Take your feet a little wider. So my feet go as wide apart as the mat. My toes turn in, my knees lean together. Hands come down to your belly. Take some nice deep belly breaths.